So if I've been doing this for a year, it's because people keep showing up for a year. So that's on you. So thank you guys for that. Let's begin. And then, as always, about gratitude for the knowledge and the practice. Okay, so let's do the right foot forward today to start. Feet are shoulder width. Make sure that you have that separation in the width sense, and then forward and back into the side. Forward and back into the side. So the side is the left, and then you're pushing forward. Your feet are firmly on the ground. Now what you want to start with is, apart from always starting with breath, breathing in and breathing out, is pushing on the different parts of your foot and how that allows you to do this movement. It's all about the pressure across the foot. So there's a heel as a kind of a lever point or in the back, and then there's the front of the foot just below the what I call the pad of the toes. And there's a point called kidney 1, and that's what they often call the ball of the foot. And so you're pushing from those two places, the heel and the ball of the foot, to make this movement work. So pay attention to your ankles, pay attention to your weight on your feet. And then if you're going to map out this movement to great detail, which is of course what we're doing, the next thing is to think about the two maximums. The maximum forward here, which is where the hip goes straight to the front, and I'm pushing into my back leg. My weight is going to the front of my front foot. That point is as far forward as you can bring yourself without either tipping or having to take a step. And then, so that's the maximum forward, and then you come back into the side, and this is the maximum back. Your belly button should be to the side. Your weight should be on the back, on the heel of the reverse foot, and your body has turned 45 degrees to the front that you're facing. So I'm here, maximum back, maximum forward. And you can see it's very specific positions. So I like the term map it out, because that gives you boundaries. And the boundary is important. If you go any further than this, you fall off balance. If you go any further than this, you fall off balance. But as I've said from the beginning of all of these classes, as I've said from forever, because one of the things my teacher always says, this is the fundamental movement here of all of the movements. This is really what you're doing, is moving your lower body around in a stance. And this dynamic is teaching you how to do every movement because of that. But we're going to add in the arms one at a time. So the first arm is going to be the right arm, the one that's in front. It's going to come back, and it's going to do a circle. Now it drops at the furthest back point. So it's coming across at about eye height, and it gets to the point where you're furthest back that you can go, and then it falls down, palm to the floor, and then it comes back with you to the front, palm to the outside. And then here, watch your elbow doesn't come up, it just turns and comes up, turns and comes up, and goes across again. So the maximum forward position, the palm is to the outside of the front knee. The maximum back position, the palm is right in front of you to the side, and then as you turn forward, it falls. So hopefully that's all making sense, because we still have one more limb to add into this. So every time you add a layer, you have to make more of it unconscious, less of it can be focused on consciously. So try to just continue to do what you're doing, and we're going to add in the left hand. What the left hand's going to do is, as you move to the front and clear, you're going to reach forward. And then as the right hand comes up, the left hand comes down. There's an up and down. And then the left hand's going to clear to the outside along the same path as the right hand coming back. See how they're moving together? and then this is the furthest back point, and then the left hand climbs up, the right hand climbs down, and then they move together to the front. So they're moving in unison, opposite, yin to yang, always in balance, cross, forward, and back. Every time you come back, right hand on top. Every time you go forward, it's the left hand on top. Now, go back to the fundamental. The first thing, breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. Connecting to the muscles of your abdomen, the muscles of your diaphragm, the muscles from your lower stomach. And now when you breathe out, push forward and exhale, hold the exhalation and really push. Breathe in. Breathe out and push from your stomach, through your feet, through your hands. More. Cleansing breath. Breathe in. And out. And down. And up. And out. Good. Now, do the other side. So left foot forward, starting with feet shoulder width, making sure the stability between the side is good. And then remember, our major dynamic is the lower body coming to the front, and then coming to the back, and all the way to the back part of the right leg, and then coming forward. So reconnect to breathing, calming down, focus on the dynamic just of the lower body and the breath. Pay attention to the maximum positions, maximum back, maximum forward. And the markers that you know you're doing the position correctly are basically your hips and shoulders, but mainly your hips. Your hips have to be straight forward, and then they have to be 45 degrees or a little more maybe to the front direction you're facing. That dynamic is going to tell you you're doing it right, more than most other things. Pay attention to how your feet, right? Subtle changes in the pad of the foot, pushing down from the heel, from the side, from the front. Rotate you, turn you. And then, starting with the left hand in this case, it's going to come back with you. At the point furthest going to the back, you're looking at your palm. The palm drops, your head turns to the front, clear to the front. Watch the elbow doesn't move, climb up and around. Now you're creating a circle, of course. You're doing it through the positioning of the palm as much as anything else. And now you're going to do the same thing in an opposite way with the other hand. So you come to the back position, and then you push forward and reach forward at the same time. And then yin to yang, other way. Yin to yang, and back. And be careful that when you come back, the right hand in this case is to the outside here. See, it's to the outside. Now, start to focus on the push forward. Clench your stomach, push through your legs, through your feet, and hold it for a moment at the exhalation. Again. And again. Feet together. One more cleansing breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Push to the ground. Stretch around the toes. Breathe in. Up and open. Back. Shake it. Hard. Feet shoulder width apart. Hands up to here. Let's warm up the hips a little more and stretch. So elbow to knee, and when you bring your elbow and knee together, squeeze your stomach so you're pushing down and up at the same time. So it's like a little crunch, a little sit up. Okay. 1. Switch sides. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, come up, kick, and then come back and switch sides, okay? 1, 2. Try to stay very balanced. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then bring your, no, sorry. One more thing. Put your hands forward, back straight. Keep your back as straight as you can. Come down and hold it for a second and then come up. Again, down slowly. Hold it for a second. Come up. A little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now stay down. Come up. Hands back to here. Bring up your left knee. Draw a circle with your big toe to the outside. And then with your big toe to the inside. And now from the knee to the outside. Then to the inside. And now right from your hip around to the outside. And then to the inside. Down. Other foot up. Ankle outside. Inside. Knee outside. Inside. And then the hip outside. Inside. And down. Make loose fists. The outside of the muscle of the leg, not the joint. Skip the knees, so pass the knees to the calves. Inside, calves, inside, skip the knees, and then glutes. Shake it out. Good. Okay, let's have a stretch. Push your feet out. Sink down, hands on your knees. Start to stretch. Relax. Ease into it. Maybe wiggle side to side a bit. And when you feel like the stretch is settling into the hips properly, turn the feet forward, bring the elbows down, push the knees out, and sink even more. Now from here, my head is looking down, I'm going to think of the top of the back of my head moving forward and elongating my spine like a cable, horizontal. I bring my hands up and extend my hands at the height of my head. So I'm stretching my spine back and front. And then I'm going to let my hands fall to the ground, fingertips touching, and push my knees out and sink down even more. Come up, twist your elbow to the knee, look up. Put away. Straighten your back. Turn to the left and lean in. You make sure your alignment to the side is correct. Push, bring your head forward and elongate through, again, the top of your head so that you're really extending out that back leg. And then turn to runner stretch, sink down. Put the knee down, push your weight forward against your left foot. And then shift back, point the toes in the air, stretch. Hands to the floor in the middle, turn to the front, straighten your back. And then, of course, same thing to the right. So turn to the right, settle your alignment, and then lean in, stretching the leg. Now, pushing the top of the head forward and the heel on the ground and the back away. So you're pulling the top of the head away from the back heel. It's one of the ideas here. And then from there, simply turning to the right, runner stretch. Back knee down, lean forward. Shift the weight back, toes in the air, stretch. Hands to the middle, turn to the front, work your feet in, straighten the back of your legs, breathe in, breathe out, and circle your hips, and the other way. Good. So, hands out. Now, squeeze and pull in, and extend and push. In and out. Now, exhale, extend your fingertips as far away from each other as they can, past your shoulders. So your rib cage has to kind of shift up and back. And then come up, and let your hands slowly fall down. And now sink and come back up. Big, big rotations all the way through the whole arm. Slow, so you feel every part of it. It's supposed to be like an internal massage, giving yourself a massage in your shoulders. And now we're going to go the other way. So we're going to come up in the middle and then out. Slowly feel the movement. Pay attention to your shoulders and see if they don't have tension somewhere you can let go of through this. And then up, reach up, grab the ball from above and throw it down. 1, 2, 3. And then reach for the ceiling. Look up at the hand. Stretch up, push up, tippy toes. So eyes up, fingers up, heels up, but toes down. Push your toes down. And now bring your heels down. Grab your arm, pull it in tight, and twist. Switch sides, pull it in tight, and twist. And down. And one more time, reach up, look up, stretch up, tippy toes. Then heels down, grab your elbow, pull it behind you. Then the other way, pull it behind you. And then back and down. Shake it. Right hand, pull back. In, over, and out. In, twist. And then today we'll do crane beak. So remember now, when you do crane beak, this is the main connection. These 3 come in, but this is level. This is all the same height. So you could hit and all 4 or 5 fingers would hit at the same time. Here. The wrist is right above the elbow. The elbow is below the wrist. Now, put my hand so that my pinky finger part of my other hand is touching the bottom of the index finger, and then the hand comes across, and then my middle finger is coming up across the knuckles here. And then I push down and out to the side. So it's a slight turning in and around. And what you want to do is then feel there's a big stretch that comes around the wrist joint right here. Give it a shake. And if you really can sort of figure out that alignment and that feeling of getting that to happen, it helps you with a lot of the throws that use that technique. So, right? Back, over, and out. In, and twist. And then there's the crane beak. Here, down, and out to the side. Give it a shake. And side to side. Roll the chin one way, roll the chin the other way, one way, and the other way. Forward and look up. Look down. And come around. 1, 2, 3. Other way. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We're warmed up. So, can you once more remind me where we're at in this class? I feel like I really should write this down every week, but Can somebody remind me? I see people moving.
Yeah.
Hi, Bev. Thank you.
Let me just try to remember. Sorry, my mind just
We are well
blank.
into the.
Bruno, can you help out?
Yeah. So we are right after we turn, and then we turn to 225 degrees to
We're
the.
doing these.
Yeah,
turns.
exactly.
Yes. Okay. Okay. That's all I need to know. Just that much. That's great. Thank you, Bruno. And thank you.
Oh, I just remembered and we just finished where we do another cloud hands and.
Okay, that's a little bit past
yeah.
that point. So it sounds like I gotta go through that a little more to smooth it out to get to there. Yeah. Okay, well, you know what? That's great. That's great. I know exactly what we can do today then. That's great. So let's start with the third set. I want to make just a comment about a principle, a concept that every class I want to introduce a little bit more about the deeper elements here. So this one is attention. The idea of attention, paying attention to something. This is a really, really, really important thing for martial artists because if you don't pay attention, you're not going to get the information you need to respond to whatever it is that's coming at you. But attention is a fascinating thing because it's really hard to pinpoint. Like you can't pinpoint in your brain exactly physically where attention is being emergent from. It's just this thing that conscious human beings are able to do. Well, a lot of animals can do it, but we're conscious of it. And so, for instance, in front of me right now, on this side here, I have my little couch. I kind of push out of the way, and that makes my living room into my here. So there's a couch, there's a TV over there, there's a like a book stand here. I can focus on any one of these things, but what's doing the focusing? That's a good question. So you have this ability to focus. It's a little mysterious because it's hard to know exactly where that's coming from, but it's a very big concept. So when you're watching somebody practice Tai Chi, do any martial arts, one of the things you look for is you can tell by their body language, by just how they move in very subtle ways, if they're actually focusing on something in front of them that's happening, that all their attention is being channeled towards, or if they're distracted. And you can see this, of course, in other contexts. Sometimes a musician will play a song, and go, they're just playing this like robotically. They're not really in it in the moment. And the thing that changes the dynamic of just sort of robotic behavior versus really, really like deeply involved in the moment, very mindful, is where you're paying attention. Where is your attention? And so your attention has to be on what my teacher's teacher would always say is the matter at hand. So your hands are guiding your attention in front of you. Now that does not mean that my eyes are fixated on what my hands are doing. I can actually be absolutely focused on what my hands are doing like this. I don't need to look at it for my attention to be on it. So that's a different thing than just visual, okay? So this is why this is a big idea. So when we're gonna go through the third set right now, and we're doing the different moves, put your mind squarely focused on the idea that what's happening in front of you right now is the only place that your attention is going, okay? And then that'll spill out to many, many, many more things over time. So from here, carrying the tiger to the mountain, and begin. So that's definitely as far as we've gone, I guess. Yes. Just, do you guys want to review anything before that? Yes. So, do you want to review the spear position ones, these ones? These ones? Yes. Everybody's good on that? Okay. So, let's relate this to something from the beginning of class though. The maximum position forward, the maximum position to the side. Pay attention to the alignment of your torso. Each time you step and push, it's distinctly in that direction. And then the rest of it is the rotation to that direction. Now, when I want to go from point A to point B, I want to do it as efficiently as I can. So when I turn, I'm just going to go to the side as an example. I can overturn and then correct, like you're counter steering, but that's not good. That means that I've overshot. I want to pay attention to how much energy and dynamic does it require to turn exactly to the new direction and then settle there. Okay, that's a big part of this sequence. So if we had done single whip 45 here, and we're going to do the next sequence here. I'll let you see my feet a little better. Okay, here, what's going to happen is I'm going to turn on the front of my left foot to this side here. So my weight is here on my left foot. I'm turning to the side on my left foot, and that allows my right hand to come up, and my left hand is going to come together like this. So I go from here to here, and now as I get to here, I can bring my right foot across and step. And as I finish the step, I push down with my right hand. I got to move a little away from the wall. And then I step forward with my left foot to the side and bring my left hand up and push away to position 1. Okay, so that's the trickiest, that's a tricky step. If you go to here again, one of the best ways to think about this is imagine there's a person here at the side, and what they're going to do is they're going to do a left hand punch right at your face for where you are right there. So I'm here, the punch is coming at me here, right? There's my helper here. The punch is coming at me right here, and I'm turning and getting across past it there. Okay, so if I face this way, punch is coming here, I turn and I bring my foot across, and you see how I got off to the side of it. Okay? Back here. So turn, bring your right hand up, bring your hands together as they come across the center, step down, push down with the right, step forward with the left, push away here. Now, this is position 1. Your hips are distinctly to this direction. Now, when you do the turn, allow yourself to sink slightly, just a little bit. That'll help the rotation. So now I'm turning, I'm bringing my foot across. And then when it gets to the position where the knees align and I can transfer the weight, I just spiral around to the new direction, 180 degrees, and then push. And I rise a little bit when I push. There's a little bit of rising. So that when you turn, you can fall again. So now we're going from straight to the side, 45 degrees to the left, push the right hand down to the left, turn, step with the left foot, small step, and then root and rise slightly. And now the big turn. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a detailed explanation. Let me show you this, you relax and just watch this. This is a very tricky little detail, but if you can get it, it helps this move. This is one of the most precarious movements in the entire form because you're going a little further than your body natural alignment gets you. So what I mean is this. If I stand here with one foot in front of the other, and I cross my one foot across the other so that the knees align, what ends up happening is, there's a 45-degree line between my two big toes right there, okay? And then from here, if I don't move but rotate where my feet are, I turn and I have a natural stance 180 degrees to the direction I was facing, okay? So this is a very important dynamic for stepping, is you can turn 180 degrees and be exactly square to the direction you're facing from that kind of cross step. Okay, now this sequence is using this in a reverse way, so I'm stepping behind, but it's the same thing, it ends up being the same thing. So 180 degrees is absolutely it's like that's how the body was designed to do it. It was designed to rotate that way. But we're going another 45 degrees. And so to do that, what we want to do is, here, is I don't just go to the normal position here, because then I'd end up in this corner. What I have to think about, and this is, hopefully this is, so far has made sense, because this is what brings it all together, is that I'm thinking about, in all of these techniques, that when I'm turning, there's somebody pushing on them. Like they're grabbing, they're pushing, they're wrestling, essentially. And so this is a throwing motion to turn and throw them, right? I wrestle with somebody and I throw them. But what I have to do is I have to support my structure, I have to absorb their weight, I have to step back, and I have to use the step back to create a small turn right here before I actually put the back foot down. And then I can complete the turn and end up in the direction I actually need to get to. Okay? That's very, very precarious, because you are taking one instant in time to rotate on one foot with the weight of a person here and turn in a way that's a little awkward. That's a very, very precarious thing to do. Okay, if there's any questions about that, did that make sense? Everybody's good? Okay, good. So that's let me, I come across people a lot that say, you know, I'm a musician, by the way, because I talk about music with them. Oh, I can never play music, I'm just no good, da, 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 da. I'm like, no. Not everybody gets to be Pavarotti or Mozart or whatever. Like that's true. But everybody can learn how to play an instrument. Everybody. And doing something like this, you're thinking about it in Tai Chi, you're learning something that's excessively difficult. So you can do anything. You can do this, you can do anything. I guarantee you, this is as complicated as movement and arts and expression gets. At least I think so. So, from here, we'll do the 4 positions again. First one is to the side. Now, turn, push, and position 1. Position 2. Position 3. And now here's the tricky one, and again, just do your best. Think about what I was saying. Position 4. Okay, now do we want to review that anymore, or can we keep going? Okay, how about this? Keep going, thumbs up. Okay, so from here, I'm going to step out to the left, one hand up, one hand down, and clear. I'm going to clear past my head, and I'm going to clear past my hip. Okay? Then I'm going to bring my hands up to the thermos on my left knee, and then I'm going to push the thermos to my right knee, and then I'm going to bring the thermos back to my left knee with my right foot. So I come to cat stance like this. And then right from here, my right hand is going to come forward and do a wrist strike. My left hand is going to help it. 1. And then I bring my knee up. 2. And then I bring my knee up and my hands back, and then I throw myself forward and up. Okay? Now, do you guys want to go into that, or can you just sort of let that go? Okay. Do you want to go into that? Yes, kind of. Let's do a quick. We'll do a quick look at it. Yeah, we got some time. We'll do a quick look at it. Okay, so if I end up facing this way. Right, I go 1, and then I go 1, 2. Okay, I suppose I'll explain that real quick. So the way that I like to think about this one is this is teaching you the principle of up and down. The principle of up and down is really good for somebody say grabs with 2 hands. They're grabbing with 2 hands. If you push one hand down and one hand up at the same time, you will short circuit your strength, because, and this is the principle, strength can only be one-dimensional, can only be linear. You can only be strong in one direction. So if you're pushing down with both hands, they can be strong and resist with both hands. Pushing up with both hands, they can resist with both hands. But if you're pushing down and up at the same time, especially if it's a little bit with a bit of a pulse, doesn't matter. There's no strength. It opens their arms. So that's the principle here. Okay. Then what I'm going to think about for simplicity's sake is if somebody did grab me and I parted their arms away like this, here, I'm going to come down and I'm going to strike with my palm heel on the floating rib. On this would be the right side. Okay. Now on the right side, on the floating ribs, which is in this area down here, is your liver. So this is to strike to the liver. And then you're going to hit the same thing on the other side. On this, that would be the left. And that's roughly the spleen's in there. And I think the pancreas kind of sits on that side too. So 2 floating ribs. But on the second one, 1, 2, I'm bringing my foot with me. Okay? So I part the arms. And then I hit one side. And then I hit the other side and I bring my foot with me. Now, if you guys imagine grabbing my wrist here, okay? So just imagine you grab my wrist. And I go like this, right? From the first set when we block the knife, right? I'm pushing here, it's gonna bring your hand up like this into your body, right? You got that, that's good? That makes sense? Okay, if you're strong about that and you resist, it'll be very difficult for me, even if I do a really good Tai Chi movement, to make that happen because you'll be able to resist. But if I put my other hand here, then I'm actually using both of my arms. And your strength of one arm versus both of my arms is very unlikely that one arm will be stronger than both arms, especially if I'm using my body to throw that weight forward. Okay, so that's the idea, is I'm going to throw myself forward at the person grabbing me with both hands and sort of thrust their own grip into their body this way. But if they're strong and they recover on the first one, the next part's brilliant because what happens is you come out and then you come back. So they go like this and they think, I need to reassert my dominance in this situation. I'm going to come forward. And that's what you're doing, is you're drawing them forward and then you're hitting them again. And there's no way they're going to resist that second one. So their experience is to go here and go, and then push back and go bang, right at that moment. Okay, so that's what's going on here. 1, 2. Okay, fair enough? Okay, so if their experience was that, and they end up on the second one like this, 1, 2, you shift in, you get up underneath their arms, and you push away at that point. So they go here, and they resist and push back, and then they go here, and then you move in, and you push up underneath this way, and fly, and they flip flying away. Okay, and this is a principle. Again, everything has principles, right? I know I'm throwing this out a lot, but that's really an important thing to just sort of acknowledge. And so the principle I want to, in this sense, is this: if I think I have a sword, right, and I'm going to do a cut with my sword, just a basic cut, I have to raise that up, and there's a space that opens up because I do that, and then I'll come into that space with the sword. But if I can time it so that I move in when that person raises up, I can attack on the inside. It's an opening to come inside, to enter into the situation. And so that's what this also represents, is you're taking that moment. Now, of course, people in the street don't carry swords around. Well, unless, for the most part, that doesn't happen. But one of the common sort of things a person will do if they want to hit somebody else is called the haymaker punch, which is like this, right? Well, that's actually the same position. It really is. It's going to raise the hand up to come down. And so in that moment, you slip inside, and then you do your technique. Okay, so if we go to here, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, shift in, push away. Okay, now how's that? Is that good? Good, okay. Now, do we have time to do much more? Yeah, okay, we'll see. I'll introduce one more movement, but you get to review something here. So after you do this, you're going to do single whip to the 45. And then you're going to enter into cloud hands again. Cloud hands is always the same, exactly the same. So I block a kick with my left hand. I bring my feet together. My hands come from up to down, and then I step across. 1, up to down, step across. So that was 1 cycle, 2 cycles. And then a third. And then you always finish cloud hands by coming out to single whip to the side, okay? So you've seen that before, that's exactly the same as the second set. Remember though, you enter cloud hands on a diagonal and you exit cloud hands to the side. That's important to remember. Okay, so I'll introduce the next movement, but we'll review it next week because this is a big one too. But this is there's only maybe 3 or 4 more big movements in the full thing and you've got it. So you guys are doing well. I mean, new ones. Okay. Have I talked about the legend of Zheng Shengfeng and the founding of what was ended up being called Tai Chi and the witnessing of the fight between the snake and the crane? Did I talk about any of that? No? Okay. Here's a quick part of that story that's really important. There's this Taoist monk who they believe, you know, this is history in the point that it's almost legend. Like it's hard to discern exactly. But somewhere around 1000 AD, 1100 AD, and he was very famous for cultivating a lot of the internal Taoist Qigongs and martial arts, and being a seed from which the Tai Chi later came into the Chen family and then to the Yang family and then to us. Anyway, very famous stories about him, and some of them are definitely not real. They're just like fantasy stuff that touches into Taoist mythologies, and it's a pretty cool story, but it's not real. This one is an interesting one because it's teaching a number of layers of lessons. And that's, he was meditating on a mountain, and the story goes, he looked down, and one of the beautiful, and if you've never seen them, they're these white cranes of southern China. They're a very beautiful bird. And they have some really amazing movement defenses, and it was fighting with a snake. So the snake was on the ground, and the defensive behavior of the snake was that it was coiled in a spiral, right? And then the crane is moving around it with its wings out like this, which is, as I said, it's really an interesting thing they actually do. And he watched this and he got this flash of insight about movement in general. And so that has always been attributed to a sort of a root of the Tai Chi. The Tai Chi is snake and crane. But snake and crane are also very old, very important Kung Fu systems. So whether he saw a literal snake and crane fight or he was watching a snake and crane practitioners, I don't know, nobody knows, but it could be both, it could be neither, it could be just a metaphor, whatever it is, it's definitely part of the story. And it's related to the next sequence, because the next sequence we do is a snake Kung Fu sequence, or it's drawn from that source. And the snake style is actually, as far as we can tell, the oldest of the animal styles. And I think that that's fascinating, actually, on a number of levels. Snake and dragon are kind of intertwined there, by the way, too. So there's a correlate there, but snake. Anyway, so you'll see. So we go to this position here, and the movement is called snake creeps down. Now, actually, I'm going to face this way because you'll see better this way. So, of course, I'm in single whip posture. So my left foot is carrying my weight mostly right now, and my left hand's forward. Now, I'm going to bring my right foot in towards my left foot. I better show you my feet better. My right foot into my left foot. And then I'm going to step out to the corner on my right. It's not straight behind me, but it's to the corner. Big step, big as you can do, essentially. And then I'm going to bring my hands across to my right foot. And then I'm going to drop my left hand down to my right leg. And then I reach down my left leg with my left hand this way. And then I reach down towards the ankle and come up, and we're going to stop right here today. So just forget about the right hand for now. It's just, this is the left hand. This is the snake creeping down the hill and then climbing up, standing. Okay? Now, back to here. Step in. The right hand swings in somewhat. And then the right hand swings back with the left hand. It's still crane beak, but then you drop the crane beak. and your two hands move together, and you reach, and now your right hand is as if you're putting your hand here, but it's just a little bit below, and then up, there. Okay? That snake creeps down. And let's, whoop, this thing keeps moving on me. There. How much time do we have? Oh, we're gonna have to wrap it up. But the basic premise is this. I'm wrestling with someone. I get a grip onto their arm or their shoulder on my right side, and I take my left hand, and if you guys put your right hand forward, and notice that if I'm on the outside of your right hand with my left here, I can come across your arm and push against your elbow this way, okay? And then I'm gonna drop. And then I'm gonna come up underneath your arm here. So I'm gonna come up underneath, and then I'm hooking the arm for the next technique. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah, good. So that's the essence of it, but as I said, there's a lot more I could get into about the animal styles and how they relate. But if you want to have something to do, go on YouTube and type in snake kung fu or white crane kung fu and watch some of the practitioners do those techniques and go, oh, that kind of looks like something we did maybe, or maybe it doesn't. But whatever it is, it's kind of fun to do that kind of thing. Okay, any final questions? Thank you for your time, everybody. Have a great week.